Well, things are starting to heat up this week. Some Eagle fans did some stuff behind in front of the Novacare complex today to kind of send a message to the Eagles. Kind of want to go over that. A couple more players, a couple more things outside of, signings and things. The Eagles can make some moves if that's even the case at this point. And to go over a lot of talk that's been going around. And since we obviously know the truth about this Eagles offense and the truth about this defense and what's been going on, and especially the beating that the Eagles took this past Sunday, how are the Eagles going to respond? And A.J. Brown had a lot to say.
We better do that. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yeah, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. So, a lot going on this week, and, a big week for the Philadelphia Eagles against the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, I haven't really even had a chance to talk about the Cowboys this week because there's just so much going on with this team right now, and obviously after the beating they took on Sunday, it's really hard for me to even kind of move on to, the matchup, even though it's a very important matchup. I mean, I don't want to be that Eagle fan that's going to say that, oh, you go into Dallas, if you win or lose, like you're still fine, regardless if you lose the game. But I don't see this team losing 2 games in a row. I just don't see it. You get through Dallas, you obviously have Seattle on Monday night, and then you're down to 3 games against the Giants, Arizona, and Giants again. So, I mean, the Eagles will probably lock up the division most likely because of the tiebreaker, but yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, but a lot has been, we got to hear from Shaq Leonard today, which was nice. He's wearing number 50, by the way. Now, a lot was said with Shaq Leonard, why he chose to come to Philadelphia instead of Dallas. And that's not even the case, guys. Like, apparently, from what he told us about his breakup with the Colts, that he was shocked over the whole situation in general. We all know that he was underutilized with, the Colts defense, and he was only playing like maybe 70% of the snaps at this point. And I don't know, just was kind of changing in motion where both sides kind of agreed to kind of part ways, and he says he was definitely shocked about it. Now, this wasn't a choice between the Eagles and the Cowboys. Oh, I'm going to go to the Eagles because I'm going to be a starter regardless. I'm going to go to the Cowboys because they have a great defense. And, it wasn't that. Shaq Leonard went to the Eagles because of Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni is the main reason why Shaq Leonard is with the Philadelphia Eagles right now. It had nothing to do with the Eagles as a team or the Cowboys as a team. We all did hear a couple days before he visited the Philadelphia Eagles. Nick Sirianni was on the phone constantly with him, badgering him the last 2 days before, really probably since he was in Dallas, really before he visited the Eagles on Thursday, Friday, whatever, or Wednesday, whatever it was. So was really bothering him on the phone. And, Nick Sirianni was the offensive coordinator for the Colts under Frank Reich. And, no, and I guess Nick just has that aura of players just gravitate towards him that used to play for him. And I mean, Nick was part of the offensive scheme, not the defensive scheme, but, as a coach or as an offensive coordinator at the time was probably well respected by a lot of those guys on the roster from the Colts. And, so that was a really cool thing to hear. But when you look at a player like Shaq Leonard, okay, and people are going to say, well, why was he, he's not the same player anymore, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what's going to happen. Because at a turnaround of events, waiting for Zach Cunningham to come back, Nakobe Dean's on IR right now. There are players that just need a new background. There's some players that just need to go somewhere else and could thrive somewhere else. Now, it does happen. Good things happen to players that move to other teams, and sometimes when players move to other teams, it's even worse, or the careers are totally over. Like Carson Wentz going to 2-3 other teams. Sometimes it just doesn't work out in your favor because of specific reasons, whether it's health, whether it's just you're not the same player you used to be. Matt Stafford and Jared Goff, another example of a situation where both quarterbacks pretty much thrived after that trade. I mean, it's more Jared Goff now than it is Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford won a Super Bowl, and Jared Goff is, playing pretty damn good right now. Sometimes players just need a different, surrounding, and sometimes players could just thrive off of that. New players, new organization, new guys to play with. So 100% Shaq Leonard is here, because of Nick, not because for the team, not because, yeah, I mean, he's here because he wants to help the team, obviously, too, to, for his services at linebacker. But interested to see what they do with him in this defense. I mean, really, if you want to move, hit the rewind button a little bit, and a guy that was, top in coverage as an off-ball linebacker, and, see what he has. And he's a tackling machine as well. So, I know he's dealt with 2 back surgeries, some neck problems, but the physicals came out well, came out great when he was in Dallas, when he was in Philadelphia. So sometimes players just need this new environment, and I think that's what's going to be good for Shaq Leonard down the road with this team. And God knows, guys, like, I know he's 28 years old, he's not 25, 24, like, I get it, but if he works out and he plays really well this year, Shaq Leonard could be a big re-sign candidate, as well as Zach Cunningham, so, we'll see what happens, but this is going to be an experiment. From what I've heard so far, Shaq Leonard was in the building yesterday, like all day, hanging out with the defensive coaches and going over everything to catch himself up. So it looks like Shaq Leonard is ready to start this Sunday. He's actually going to play this week. I thought it was going to be very 50-50 on the situation because of how late in the week he got here, middle of the week sometime, to kind of catch up on everything. But no, they want to dress him up for Sunday and make him available, and it looks like he is going to play on Sunday. That's what I'm hearing so far regarding to Shaq Leonard. So some good things to say. And obviously we heard Desai's press conference the other day, and it just wasn't good enough for me. And I feel like I'm hearing, he's trying to tell us what he wants us to hear. And I got to see better play calling. I have to see more blitzes. I have to see 6 Eagles jerseys going to the football. It's just, it's a mess right now. The zone coverage is a mess. The communication is a mess. Your pass rush is not good enough right now, and things need to be fixed defensively. It's not good. It's not good right now. So that's the news on Shaq Leonard. So good chance he's playing this week, which is great. Now, to talk about the Eagle fans, a couple of Eagle fans went in front of the NovaCare complex with a big sign that says "Run the Ball," and Nick had some things to say. I don't know if this was on WIP or probably this was during his press conference today. He said, Nick Sirianni says he saw the Run the Ball fans outside the NovaCare complex. He said, "We sent them coffee. I love our fans, their passion, their energy. It's not the first time I've heard run the ball." And you know what? We do need to run the ball. I appreciate their energy, and I know they'll have the same energy when they're cheering us on. I'm telling you right now, dude, since we know the news that, it's already enough that I really hate that offensive coordinators nowadays are not getting full control of offenses, that head coaches are getting in the way, analytics are getting in the way. Oh, well, if we pass the ball on 2nd and 4, this play is more of a bigger percent probability. Like, stupid shit like that, it's got to stop. It's got to stop as of right now. You can't run an offense like this. And I feel like when you run an offense with analytics, the head coach has no feel for the game. You don't know how to prioritize correctly. You just don't know. You don't have the sense of what your identity. How do you figure out what your identity is when you run your offense off analytics as well? There's no identity there. So every game, the Eagles have been looking the exact same. They've been having shitty first halves and with barely running the football, and then they look night and day in the second half. Unfortunately, during the 49ers game, on top of having no heart, on top of not having any sense of, holy shit, we need to start kicking their ass. We need to show that we're not, going to get pushed around and bullied around on our own field. The bad play has just been, it's caught up to us now. And Nick's like, oh, we have to run the ball now. Oh, I know we have to run the ball. Yeah, I hope so, because I don't see this team losing 2 games straight, but you're playing Dallas in Dallas. We haven't been successful there in a while, and you really have to turn up, dude. You really got to turn up. DeAndre Swift was frustrated last game. And by the time the Eagles started to like say, hey, we're not taking shit from you guys, it was already too late by the time that all started. And I'm hope I see a different team on Sunday. Do I think they're going to change a lot? I don't know. I feel like they're going to give us a little bit more, but it's not going to be enough. And I hope I'm wrong. DeAndre Swift with 6 carries in the first half. I think during the Bills, he only had like 3 to 4. I mean, it wasn't much. Okay, Jalen Hurts passed the ball 45 times. It's a complete joke with the offensive line you have right now. And this, I mean, you have no injuries to your offense. I mean, you have an offense that you have a top 2 offense in the league right now. That can be a top 2 offense because the Eagles aren't scoring enough points. Nail biters every single game in the second half where Jalen Hurts has to put the team on his back, whether it's through injury, whether it's through the passing game, the run game, whatever the case may be, or with his legs. This has to be fixed. Now the Eagles fans are coming out with fucking big-ass signs. They're in front of the NovaCare complex for hours. And it's going to turn. It's got to turn sooner or later because it's going to get worse because this is going to be one of the biggest Eagles downfall seasons. If they get you're 10-2, dude. You're 10-2. And we're treating this like they're 2-10. We're acting like they're playing as if they are 2-10, and it kind of feels that way. The 10 wins don't really matter to me at all. Like I feel like, because so much can be fixed, and it's a little bit of a tweak. It's a little bit of it's a mini fix. Like there's, it's either you're gonna give BrianJohnson the keys to this offense. Okay, maybe your identity needs to change this year. Maybe you can't go through the pass. Maybe you have to run the ball. It's already enough they don't know football 101 with play action, no RPOs, can't throw the linebackers off. Even during the 49ers game with Fred Warner and Kinlaw and some of the other guys like Greenlaw, you can't throw these linebackers off with the RPOs. You don't even run RPOs, and you're at that point, you're already losing because of linebackers are just going to play fast at that point. And if you don't have a successful run game, why are you running play action like over and over again? I feel like any fan could run this offense. I mean, statistically, or like as a standard for like regular plays, if you know the game of football, what makes sense with certain plays. So it's been a complete headache with that situation. Hopefully, we see some changes, and I'm praying, man. I'm praying because I am not, being soft on this team anymore. It's over now. We're past week 4, week 5. Give them time. I'm done with that. Now, you have some. The good thing that the Eagles have right now is time on their side. They have a lot of time on their side right now. It's not even the only question isn't even about the offense and the defense, the play calling, but what about the players? I mean, what about the players now? Like apparently there was some big conversations. AJ Brown had a lot to say to the team. This is what A.J. Brown says, said the energy Eagles didn't play with the same energy. Asked today if the issue has now been addressed. He said, quote unquote, I'm going to keep what was said in the locker room private, but you're going to see Sunday. So I don't know if there was a big meeting between coaches and maybe they were in, where they sit and watch film. Maybe they were in there and they were talking about, maybe A.J. Brown was, being very vocal. Maybe the coaches want the players to be more vocal. Maybe the players really want to speak to the coaches. Like everything, it's on all of us now. Like I don't care what AJ Brown has to say. Like, AJ Brown had 114 yards. Devontae Smith had close to 100 yards. I mean, pretty much 90 something yards in that game. Like statistically, they both look pretty damn good. If they would have even had a better game in this game. But the run game has got to get going, and the mentality really. What hurt more than just losing to the 49ers, and trust me, the loss wasn't even the biggest problem. The biggest problem I had was you let them take a shit on you on Sunday night. I mean, no sense of urgency, like pushback attitude. I mean, it took Big Dom to kind of excite the team a little bit and kind of realize that they were in a fight, late in the game. But by that time, it was just too late at that point. And, like, I'm hoping getting your ass kicked like this really does change you as a team. It does change you as a player, to be like, that motivates other players. And then like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Why were we like this? Why, like, it's just crazy, because I guarantee you that the next time we have a rematch with the 49ers, it's going to be different. I mean, it's got to be. I mean, you can't let that happen again. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So, talk is cheap at the end of the day. You guys got to play and do your thing. Now good news. I mean, a few pieces here. Dallas Goddard had his his little interview in the locker room. And it looks like, he's coming back this week. Well needed, especially not having Dallas Goddard. Has questioned the offense as to why A.J. Brown has been double-teamed a lot. And the second half of this season after the bye has been more of the Devontae Smith show. Even though A.J. Brown had a pretty good game last game with the opportunities that were there and getting your ass kicked at the same time, getting Dallas Goddard now is going to be huge for this offense, because Jack Stahl is not Dallas Goddard. Grant Calcaterra is not Dallas Goddard. Albert O, I think, is going to have significantly, I think he'll be more of a next year piece for the Eagles because they barely do anything with him now and they traded for him, and there's a lot of upside with him because the Eagles are not keeping 4 tight ends they're not keeping 4 tight ends next year. I'd be shocked. I was already shocked enough they kept 4 this year on top of like 7, 8 cornerbacks and, 4 running backs. So some of it was kind of surprising. But definitely you're missing that next element is missing that, Jalen Hurts, Dallas Goddard connection. Dallas Goddard's been feasting. I mean, he could have played last week. The doctors were just very conservative. He could have played against the 49ers last week, no doubt. And he wouldn't have made a difference to the game and some of the missed calls or whatever the hell is going on. So that all the Eagle fans are complaining about calls and all that shit from last week, it wouldn't have mattered. You know what I mean? It just doesn't matter when you're mentally not there in a game. Getting Dallas Goddard back is bringing a lot of weaponry back to your offense. A huge, you know what I mean? So very happy about that. And, the team that broke his forearm, he will be playing in that game when he returns this week in Dallas. I hope they really make a statement. Dallas Goddard being back is huge for this offense, no doubt. Next on the list for the Eagles, Zach Ertz. So this news came out the other night. It seems like the Eagles have contacted Zach Ertz's camp as of right now, and that's really it. So really it's up to Zach Ertz. I don't know if he's waiting like one more week. With 4, then there's going to be 4 more games left on the schedule, and then kind of pick where he wants to go. He wants to go to a contender. Now we know the Ravens have already, Harbaugh already said he doesn't want Zach Ertz. I will not even say that, but he said he's good with the room that he has right now, so no interest there. Now I heard the Bills, I heard the Chiefs. I'm not hearing too much about the Bills and the Chiefs. The one team that I'm hearing a lot of right now, besides the Eagles, is the San Francisco 49ers. I don't know why. It's either they just want to take him away from us, they don't want us to get any depth at that position, or they really need depth at tight end. I don't know, because Kittle seems to stay healthy all year, and he doesn't ever come out of the game. So the 49ers are a team right now that have their eyes on Zach Ertz. They've been talking to his camp. If Zach Ertz goes to the 49ers and, we lose out on him, as long as the Eagles didn't have any interest, then I'm fine with it. If the Eagles had interest and he picked San Francisco over Philly, then I might be a little pissed off. But if there was no interest from the Eagles at all, like at the end of the day, if there was like really no interest, or maybe they made a phone call and then said, you know what, screw it, we're not going to do this anymore. Or maybe this was something they did maybe a few days ago, last week. Maybe they made a call to Zach Ertz's camp and try to get something done, and maybe they just backed out of it. I don't know. Like I said, this is a move I wouldn't mind because you can always use Zach Ertz in a rotation on 3rd down or something like that, because I feel like he has a lot in the tank. And with a really good offense around him, I think he'll thrive here. I mean, he doesn't have to be the guy. Felt like in Arizona, they really, they targeted him a lot in Arizona, and it seemed like they were just off, obviously, with Josh Dobbs and finally getting Kyler Murray back too late, too soon. Zach Ertz kind of wanted to ride his way out of Arizona. He calls Philadelphia home, obviously, and we'll see what happens. But if he signs somewhere else where the Eagles have no interest in finding out the Eagles backed out or said, then I can't blame Zach Ertz for that. And look, I can't blame Zach Ertz, period. I mean, it is what it is. Like, if he wants more of he's not going to get a starting role anywhere. The Ravens was really his best shot with Mark Andrews being out to get that pure starting spot that he wanted at tight end. But we'll see what happens. Lastly, Ndamukong Suh. Okay, a couple days ago, news was starting to pour out a little bit. I didn't get a chance to report it, but there's news that Ndamukong Suh is ready to return really soon to a contender, and the Eagles apparently are on the top of his list. as of right now. 36 years old. Sue's got some juice, not that much, So Eagles got to make a decision on. I don't know if they could bring Ertz and Sue in. Getting more, literally at the end of the day, I always say this. You can get a Shaq Leonard. You can get a Dominican Sue. You can get anybody. Okay? If the scheme isn't fixed, if they're not more aggressive and they're not playing a little bit more up front, and they're not giving up too much. Like, if this scheme is going to be what it is right now, it doesn't matter what player. Adding more to your defensive line does nothing, because if you can't hit home and you're playing off ball coverage and you're giving away way too much room for these wide receivers and tight ends, getting Sue is going to be a waste. It's a waste of money at the end of the day. Getting Shaq Leonard's going to be a waste if you're going to sit him back and defend an area. Just depending on what you're doing. You know what I mean? With this zone coverage. And I can't even explain it anymore. It's just been a headache at this point. It's been a headache, and there's been some games where the Eagles have played. I want to play these linebackers downhill. And I want this defensive line to hit home a little bit more with some good coverage. You take away the first read, there's a good chance the Eagles could do a lot of damage. Just it's not enough right now. Sue might want to come back, and that's because he was with us last year and knows the players really well. So why wouldn't he want to come back here? He knows the players, he knows the city, knows the front office. Like, he probably feels very comfortable coming back here, and the Eagles are obviously in the playoffs. They're not going to not be in the playoffs. So, Sue might have some other teams that are, that they're on his list, but so far as of right now, the Eagles are on the top of his list. And that really, like I said, same with the Zach Ertz situation. If the Eagles have no interest, then, Sue's going to sign somewhere else. Ertz going to sign somewhere else. So, but like I said, you can add in whoever you want to your offense. If you play your analytical offense every single game, it doesn't matter what other running back you sign. It doesn't matter if Rashad Penny, is active for a game. It's the same as the defense. Like I said before, you can add whatever player you want, but it's scheme over roster. And some of these players have been bailing out the scheme, bailing out the coach. And that's what happened last year. And significantly, and it's really sad to say, this defense looks worse than last year. And it's pretty fucking sad. So that's all I got to say on the situation. A lot of news today. Dallas Goddard coming back. Question mark for Zach Ertz, Dominican Sue. Eagle fans are starting to speak out now on running the football more. And obviously Nick knows. If I swear to God, they come out of this Cowboys game with barely running in the first half, that this fucking guy is never going to learn. And then I'm going to start to question. Nick Sirianni as a head coach. The next 4 weeks are really going to be crucial for me to really see what Nick does, because this is all on him. So, doesn't matter how many wins you get during the regular season. It helps you get into the playoffs, but you're not going to last in the playoffs playing like this. This is an offense literally that can put, I don't know, they could put over 35, 40 points on teams, and they never done it this year that much because the way you're playing in the first half of these games, and these bona fide gutsy, wins that we're getting have been fantastic, have been so awesome to see that there's fight in this team. But the fight is definitely, the luck is going to run out sooner or later, and then you got to start really picking up on things that you're not doing right. So that's all I got to say. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Let me know what you guys think about the whole situation and everything else news-wise. Dallas Goddard coming back, Ertz, Sue, all that great stuff. You guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up? Follow us. Peace out, guys. Peace.